Alrighty, everybody. I'm going to do, if you want to say, an updated 2020 equipment fleet video here. I know I did one earlier this spring, but a lot has changed in the past like 3 to 4 months. Mainly being that now you're seeing a skid steer, and over there you're seeing a big Kubota zero turn. And a lot of reasons and thought went into this with my company. One being mainly that if I pan around here quickly, you'll see over there by the wood pile that there's an actual tree chipper. I actually do a lot of tree removal, and a lot of times my Kubota front end loader was being overworked on tree jobs when it comes to moving larger logs. So we actually decided to go the route of purchasing a skid steer. Literally, this video is being done within 24 hours of purchasing this skid steer. Quite frankly, I haven't even read the owner's manual thoroughly to get to know the ins and outs of it. The dealer walked me through a lot of it, and I'm on really good terms with the dealer. So that's kind of a bonus. You know, he told me the ins and outs of everything. But yeah, like I said, I'm trying to do this video to give everybody an insight on an updated equipment fleet this year. So over here I have my Kubota front end loader. This is actually several years old. In fact, tell you the honest truth, it's 22 years old. But it still runs like a champ. Cosmetically, yes, it has seen its better days, but anybody who's in the industry, if you have a shiny machine and it's 20 years old, well, are you actually using it? My machines actually do get used on a regular basis. My skid steer, yes, I'm going to try and keep it in mint condition because it's an expensive machine. But anyhow, same with my front end loader. My front end loader in its day was an expensive machine too. But we just thought it was best to upgrade to the, going with a skid steer because of lifting capacity. But another thing that I added this year, and primarily this was added because I have one property that is somewhat difficult to mow with my garden tractors. So I went out and I managed to actually find this 2 years used. Like I said, it is dirty. I do use my machines regularly. I am trying to make time to give them a bath, but in the meantime, I found this machine relatively used, and I am one that is choosy on the type of equipment I buy because of several things. Engine for one. The front end loader here is a little bit weaker on its engine. It's only a B1700, and if anybody knows anything about Kubotas, does have a smaller engine in it, but at the time it did serve the purpose and so forth. It is still plenty big for what I did typically need it for, and what I do still typically need it for. And as I was saying, I had purchased a skid steer, so now I have even more versatility. What the front end loader can't handle, the skid steer can. But getting back to the Kubota here, the zero turn, they actually call it ZD. I don't know what it stands for, but anyway, I purchased this for several reasons. One, it has a 3-cylinder diesel engine. Two, it's a shaft-driven deck. There are other bells and whistles such as hydraulic lift deck. My front axle here actually does rotate. I don't need a floor jack or something to lift the deck up. There's bells and whistles on this and why I went this route with the Kubota mower. But that was recently purchased within the last month or two. As to my John Deeres here, these are kind of the workhorses for all year round. I have 2 garden tractors because I do snow removal in the winter. For one, these actually do have a snowblower attachment. Both of these machines are actually interchangeable 100%. One's a 425 and one's a 445. The only thing is the bagger unit is kind of stuck on the one machine because there's 2 brackets that would have to come off. And the same with the cab. The cab is kind of stuck on that machine because there's brackets involved in mounting of that. But when it comes to the mower decks and so forth, they are actually interchangeable. I've never tried it because the dealer has kind of leaned me away from doing it because the 425 does have just a little bit smaller engine. But I think under normal mowing conditions, the 425 would be able to handle the 60-inch deck. Because that's what the 445 has, a 60-inch deck. But every attachment is interchangeable on these. And if I kind of pan over here into the weed pile where my snowblower is kind of being overtaken, I have the snowblower there, kind of hiding back here. If you look, there's actually a power broom that's overtaken with weeds, and then over here is actually, if you can see the remnants of that yellow right there, there is actually a dozer blade too, also for both these John Deeres. And also the reason why I do have 2 garden tractors is I do have large properties where it's basically straight runs for like 1,000 feet at a time, and the zero turn is kind of, I don't know if you want to say repetitious and overkill. So sometimes I will use my garden tractors for mowing straight lines. The zero turn was, like I was saying, it was actually bought for one property in particular where I have a lot of maneuvering. And the garden tractors did get it done, but your turning radius obviously with a zero turn is 0, where you do have like about 30-degree or about 30-inch turning radius limit. So that was one of the reasons why the zero turn was purchased. But I did trade in 2 machines when I did actually buy the gill. So if you watch my earlier video, you will see that there was 2 Simplicity garden tractors also part of my fleet, but I did manage to trade them in for the skid steer. So I had 4 garden tractors and they were kind of overkill. A lot of times I'd have 2 of them sitting around where I didn't necessarily need them, and the choice was behind the scenes to trade them in so that I could optimize more of my money spent on machinery. If you wanna quote, I put my assets better where they'd be better served, and a skid steer was something I was actually needing. So as to my front end loader, I do have multiple attachments for that. I do have a rototiller attachment that's sitting here. I do have a 12-foot drag also. When it comes to, in the springtime, I do a lot of garden work, cultivating large gardens for people. So I have actually a big 12-foot 3-point drag that I can pull behind the Kubota. Considering that it's only a 1700, yes, it actually will pull that drag. It's kind of surprising, but we were wondering if it was going to do it, but it actually does pull it. I also do have a rear blade for the Kubota, and I have pallet forks that go on the back. I actually do have pallet forks also for the skid steer, where I can put them on the front. This actually does have a quick attach system. I don't know if any of you are really familiar with skid steers, but if you're looking into buying one for your groundskeeping or landscaping company, I went with the Gill one because I've operated them before. It it's basically one of those things. I'm not gonna say, you know, a Gill is better than a Bobcat or a Kubota or a New Holland. I'm honestly gonna tell you, you got to do your research. Buying a large investment like this isn't something that you just run out and uh, make a choice, you know, that day. It's the same thing with the Kubota. You know, I went with the Kubota front end loader because I did my research. I like their engines that they do. The Gill has a Yamaha, well, obviously the Kubotas have Kubota engines. I think newer John Deere's actually also use Yamahas, but it's one of those things where, you know, I'm not going to say, you know, a Gill is better than a New Holland. I looked at the New Hollands, and if I'm not mistaken, the New Holland is the one that actually has the lift assist in the back that actually gives you a higher lifting capacity. I did look at that angle. The Gill actually has lower rams that your rams are down lower for visibility out of the side. So that was one thing that I looked at. Plus Gill is actually their corporate headquarters are right here in Wisconsin where I'm at. So in fact, Gill, the corporate headquarters is only like 45 minutes away from me. So if that. But that was kind of a bonus. I guess this is made, from my understanding, I guess it's made in Iowa. I could be wrong. If you want to, you know, let me know. But I think this is made down in Iowa. I think it's Madison, Iowa. But I just figured I'd touch base on, you know, my larger equipment fleet update. Because I did do an update. And yeah, it's my equipment that I have, you know, it's one of those scenarios where it's to each their own. I buy stuff that I know is gonna last throughout the, you know, a decade or so. I'm not really one to be buying and selling much equipment. Usually when I do buy it, I'm with it. The only real exception lately has been two Simplicity Legacies that I traded in. And those were traded in only because I needed to better optimize, like I had said, my financial assets. So, um, but yeah, quicking touch base on this and quick put a video out there on the equipment fleet update. It's one of those things where, like I had said, you got to know, you got to do your research on what you're buying, and if you don't do your research, you might not end up with the item that you were anticipating. But anyway, if you liked the video, you can give it a thumbs up, and next time around I can try and do another video. Maybe I can get one of some actual work progressing with the new skid steer. Like I had said, I have run these before, so I do know my ins and outs. As you can tell, it's literally that brand new that there is still the number from the dealer on the back window that I haven't had a chance to take a razor blade and scrape off yet, or Windex or whatever, but literally it's that brand new. But I just wanted to put this video out there, and like I had said, if you like the video, you can give it a thumbs up. I've been doing a lot of Instagram stuff lately, so if you do watch this video, you can actually find me on Instagram at 5-Star Property Service. So yeah, it's one of those things. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up, and you can subscribe to the channel. I do occasionally throw a video out here and there. If you click that notifications for all notifications, you'll actually know when I post that video. But anyway, I guess I'll see you on the next video. Alright, later.